So we're back with the second part of our discussion. The first part was very fruitful. I feel like if you're a young woman and you didn't watch the first video, I encourage you to watch that first video. RT, drop some gems. Okay? Part two. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's always good to have you on the show.
I think it's good to be here, but I think I want to hear from you now. I want to hear about how you approach dating, one, but then any advice you'd have for men wanting to date.
Yeah, I think for me, you see, as a man, I always remember the words my dad told me. My dad, he never let my brother or I date up until we were going to college. Actually, I think I was well into college when he sat us down and he said, look, if you guys want to date, you can date. Just make sure that you know why you're dating. Now, his idea of knowing why we're dating, I'm not going to say it's the universal idea of knowing why you're dating. But my dad told me, if you're starting a relationship, your end goal needs to be known. And if you're starting a relationship, your end goal needs to be marriage. If your end goal is not marriage, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, I think that's a cultural difference between Malawi and the US.
No, it's not a cultural difference. It's not everyone. It's not everyone.
It's just your family.
It's my dad. I'm not saying everyone's dad speaks to them like that. I'm not saying everyone's dad is giving them that advice. It's my dad, and I think my dad's a wise man. He's got his moments.
No, he's wise.
Yes, but when I look back and actually reflect on my life and meditate on his words, I realize that he was right. The moment you start without knowing why you're in it, I mean, you're bound to fail. Now, as an advice to a young man, he told me, Sam, if you want to get into a relationship, you need to make sure three things are there. Number one, that you're physically mature. Number two, that you are emotionally and intellectually mature. Now, physically mature for him, he basically explained, he said, look, you need to make sure you're 18 years old. You're a man. Don't be a boy dating, like physically, you're a man. Dating is not for boys. Boys break girls' hearts. And we've seen this time and time again. I mean, if you ever chat with anyone who's dated whilst in high school, many times they have some sob stories. And have you noticed how a heartbreak when you're really 16 or when you're 26, it's the exact same thing. It's just a heartbreak. It's painful.
When you're young, it can really knock you out. I mean, it knocks you out in general, but it can really knock you out.
Yeah, and it can give you trauma. And it can give you certain expectations which are not good. Like you'd said when you shared with us last time, you talked about how you weren't valued and things like that. It's like you were dating some men or boys who had not received the kind of information that I ended up being privileged to receive. Now, I'm not going to come out here and sound like a saint. I listened to my dad, and when he said it, went in one ear, came out the other. And I just started dating the prettiest girl that I met. I started dating, a girl who, if I think she's cute, if I think we vibe, like that was a real thing. Like, hey, we vibe.
What is a vibe even?
What's a vibe? Like when you meet a person and then, you say something and they get it. They say something and you get it. That's a vibe.
Okay.
Like me and you vibe.
Yeah.
Like you're from America,
but we vibe.
But we vibe. Like, yeah. So firstly, you need to be physically mature. Hit 18 at the very minimum. 21 upwards, even better. Number two, you told me you need to be intellectually and emotionally. Okay, he didn't say mature. He said ready. Yes, his exact words were ready. Physically ready, emotionally and intellectually ready. Now, when he said emotionally, intellectually ready, he was talking about how, as a man, you are a man and you understand men. If you're going to get into a relationship, you need to understand a woman. Like, do you think it works vice versa? Or like, because again, I can only regurgitate what my dad said. But do you think women also need to understand men before getting into a relationship, or you figure it out when inside?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Like, I think, because I'm still learning about not even men, about you.
Yeah.
So it's not even like all men. I'm learning about you as a
Yeah.
man and how you are and how I can like adjust and be a better wife to you. And so I think it's a little bit of both. You need to understand, I think, at minimum, that men and women are different.
Yes.
Like,
that's one of the things
but
that he
also just
pointed out.
that people are different. Like, because like you as a man is different from someone else I may have dated or like
Yeah,
whatever.
but out of curiosity, so like there were no major similarities, say, with me and the other people you dated. I feel like women women are generally the same. Like you get some it's like saying cars. Cars are generally the same. Four wheels, honk, steering
Okay,
wheel.
like some basic
Yeah,
things.
but do you know that there's some girls out there who just think men are like them? Like
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. But yeah, there's some like basic things, yeah.
yeah,
But I
like
think
what basic things?
mm, let me think on it. You tell me how women are all the same.
Okay, like I'll tell you, women, if you meet a woman, you need to understand that firstly, she's an emotional creature.
Okay.
Like I can guarantee over 90% of women are gonna function
With their
emotionally.
emotions. I think that's fair. I think I would say then like most men are very logical.
Yes.
You are like extremely logical compared to most people I know in general, like not even just men, just in general. Sam's very logical.
Well, I'm a scientist. I am a scientist of life.
Sam is very
Yeah.
But like, yeah, to counter what you just said as emotions,
Yeah,
like
so
men are very like
yeah.
to the point. They want to help you. Like women will want to like complain or like vent just to vent. Like
I've seen
and
you
then
and I
men
have
will
been
come
in
with like
this.
a solution, and I
Yeah.
don't want a solution. I just want you to be like, that sucks. I'm so sorry. Like
Yeah, and you see, like it's one of those things. If you get into a relationship without knowing that, that can be a needless point of contention.
yeah,
It's like it's something you should know before you get in. That if I have a man or if I have a woman, if I go to my man complaining, like if Rachel comes to me, she should know that my instinct is to want to provide a solution.
yeah. And I'm like, I don't need a solution. Well, sometimes I do want a solution, but a lot of times I just want you to be like, I'm so sorry that happened, babe. Like
Yeah.
it'll be better next time.
Yeah. And then like when I go to Rachel, I need to know that I'm not likely going to get a solution. I might get a hug and I need a hug. But like if I need a solution, I might need to go to Thomas.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
But sometimes I come up with solutions, but my
Yeah, but
initial
not-
response is
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how are you feeling?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
And
Are you good?
Yeah.
Like,
And knowing that takes us away from, arguments.
yeah.
Because the moment I know that, because let's say I was looking for a solution and I come to you and you give me empathy.
Yeah.
If I didn't know that empathy is what was coming, that would annoy me, which is problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's fair.
number one, physically mature.
Physically ready.
Physically ready. Number two, emotionally and intellectually ready. So you need to understand the differences, the basic differences. Of course, everyone's going to be different.
Yeah.
And one thing I've learned over time is that even from the moment we met, like you talked about, like we look different, we've picked up weight. I mean, we're still very good looking people, but we look different. But
yeah.
Even emotionally, people evolve, and you need to factor that in. It's like
that's true.
Before I met you,
yeah,
I had no idea what you would look like after giving birth to a child.
Yeah.
I didn't know what your emotions would be like pregnant. I didn't know what your emotions would be like when you receive a promotion. And I didn't know what your emotions would be like when you don't receive a promotion. And it's one of those things where, like between the two of us, we sort of learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like have you noticed, things like that where, let's say you thought you had it figured out and then it changed.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're doing life with a person, like there's no like sugarcoating, there's no like, oh, I'm good. Like you see the raw reactions to everything, and those reactions are different, like you said, in different situations. Like, and what also like what I've learned is the way I would expect to react is like not how you would react. Like I can give the example, like when you lost your job, okay, not lost your job, when the company you were working for closed.
Same thing.
Same thing. Nicer way to put it. But that I was floored. I was like so angry. I was so upset on his behalf. And he was just like, I'm gonna start a business. What do you mean? Like, we have to get justice for you. Like they screwed you over. They made you move cities. They made you do all this stuff. And he was like, no, I'll just start my own company. I've learned a lot.
Yeah, but
okay.
in all fairness,
yeah.
I think that on my part, that was just being, like really mature intellectually and emotionally as an individual.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But like,
because my workmates were upset the way you were upset. Mm-hmm. Like they were upset. Hey, these guys, they've closed down the company. Mm-hmm. We don't have jobs.
Yeah.
And I just looked at it and I was like, let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next.
I would guess that the third thing is spiritually ready. So that also speaks to your spiritual. I don't know if that's no, that's not.
Nope. After all these years, you still don't know the stories.
No.
Remember, it's not me.
Yeah. What did he say the third thing was?
You need to be financially ready.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
If you're a man, you need to understand that the role of a man, you can't run away from the financial side. Mm. As a man, especially in our society, and in most societies in general, like if you are not contributing directly financially, you're contributing in a way that is valuable and maybe deducting costs. So you're contributing financially.
Yeah.
So as a man, you need to be financially ready. And I would like to speak to, say, young men from this side of the world, like here in Africa. You need to have a job. Yeah, you need to have a job, or you need to have a business. You need to be earning money. Mm. You can't start dating someone's daughter off of your pocket money with no prospects of you earning money. Like you're not ready. Like you're not ready. And don't be surprised if she gets stolen away from you from someone who has more money than you. And unfortunately, we've seen that one too many times where she loved him, like the movie said, they loved each other, but then
Titanic.
Titanic. They loved each other, but then there was a movie you told me about where a bride runs away from her rich.
Oh, The Graduate. I don't even know if he's rich. I was commenting on how not dumb. The world taught us to be very impulsive around our feelings.
Yeah.
Not that it's always bad to like go for who you love. I'm not saying that you shouldn't love the person you're with. You should. Like that's a real thing. You should feel excited about the person you're with. I was talking about how in The Graduate, I don't even remember the full movie, but the movie ends. She leaves a wedding to be with this guy, and they're in the back of a school bus, like leaving the scene of what has just happened. And you can see as the movie's ending, both of their faces are just like, we didn't think this through beyond the fact that we're excited about each other. And like, so you need to think it through, I think. I think you're giving a very detailed rundown. And I think, like you said, culturally, like some things matter more in different contexts than others. But I think no matter what, you need to think it through. Like you're doing, like I said before, I think when we were talking about what I would do or what I have done is like, you need to really think through like what you want and where you want to go and what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And what kind of person you need to be with to get there. I don't know if it's the same for men, but
I mean, you've kind of brought up something which I wasn't even really thinking about. And that's true. As a guy, you need to really gauge, and also as a woman, you need to gauge where you want to be.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself in a situation where, you claim you want to be a CEO, then get yourself a partner who's going to help you be a CEO. Mm-hmm. If you claim that you want to be, I don't know, an athlete or whatever, then you need to get a partner, and you need to get that partner at the right time. Mm-hmm. Timing is everything. Mm-hmm. There's certain situations where, because of your dreams, you need to postpone when you get into a relationship. Yeah. Like you need to postpone it as a guy and even as a woman.
Just in general, people need to, you need to know where you're going and what you need to be doing. You can't just haphazardly approach life, especially when you're talking about someone you're going to be with for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's crazy because have you noticed how Let's say you want to make a decision of what car you want to get. Many people are going to sit down for a very long time and like plan and decide and think about the mileage, think about the gas consumption, think about how it looks, think about the interior. And yet with a relationship, they're just like, she's pretty.
Yes. Or like he's cool, or he cool. Buys me nice things, or he pays for my
for my hair,
my nails, or buys me nice gifts.
She comes to my basketball game. So there are things like that. So I mean, at the core of it, I think what we're basically trying to say is, like make decisions with good information. And that good information is knowing yourself, knowing what you want to achieve, understanding what part of life you're in, and if you need to improve, make the improvements. And if you think that you haven't found someone who meets your criteria, wait it out. Wait it out.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done.
It's easier said than done?
Yeah. Not always. I think you need to be very principled and very convinced that knowing where you're going needs to be very strong, because otherwise you can be convinced otherwise.
Do you think having an understanding of the consequences of, choosing haphazardly, do you think that's helpful? Like, I mean, heartbreak is a real thing. Like,
heartbreak is a real thing.
I think in one of the videos I was explaining about how I went through some heartbreak and it was so bad. Like I quit my job. Like I stopped eating, and like had I known what I know now, I could have very easily avoided that.
But I think sometimes, not to just say like make all the decisions and be super impulsive, but I think sometimes those decisions help you learn what you do and don't want. Not that you should be throwing yourself at left, right, center, but I'm just saying, like, I think sometimes it helps you learn what you do want, what you don't want, what matters to you, what doesn't matter to you. And it helps you appreciate where you end up, assuming you end up in a good situation. But for me, I think where I am now, where we are now, when we're speaking of relationships, I learned a lot in the process of getting here. Some of the stuff didn't need to happen, I will say that, but some of it I'm happy it did.
I guess, I mean, I guess that's where we differ. Me, I'm telling you, man, I'm one of those people, if someone tells me the cooker is hot, I don't need to touch it to know that it's hot.
I was just telling Bia on the podcast she and I do about how I think I learn, unfortunately, by getting smacked down. Like I get smacked by life, knocked out almost fully, and then I'm like, okay, let me change something. Like if you look back like at my whole life journey so far, I've always had a moment of like kind of like a come to Jesus, like this is terrible and I hate this and never want to do this again, and then I shift things majorly and things change. And I'm trying to get out of that cycle. I don't think I've had one recently, like where I've gotten like completely knocked out flat, and I don't plan to. But I think when I was younger, that was how I learned, was like, this did not work, so something's got to give,
Yeah, like I being your husband, I know this now, and I sort of see it many a time. But me, on the other hand, I'm kind of different to you. I prefer someone who gives me good information.
Yeah, and he just follows it. Like he's so good at it. I will kind of be like, yeah, that's good, but let me like see what else. I've gotten better. I think I've improved by being with you. I think you taught me.
Yeah, I prefer receiving good information. Like if someone can tell me the way, and I don't need to, trial and error. Like I love that. I love that. It's actually kind of why I started the podcast. Because my idea is, look, if
I can tell you, then you don't have to do it.
If I can tell you, then you don't have to learn the hard way. And if you do find yourself going the hard way, and then you still have something to reference to. Because again, I've made decisions out of ignorance as well. And certain things I've had to learn the hard way. But all in all, we are where we are. Beautiful life. Getting more beautiful by the day. A few bumps in the road.
But I think that's part of life.
L's are lessons, not losses. If you've listened this far, I'd like you to hit that like button, hit subscribe, And don't forget to tell a friend about Thoughts of the Young Icon. Thank you.